Hi everybody, welcome back to another crafting with me, Avivah, your art director from Ed Asner Family Center. I am doing one of my favorite projects that I've ever done, maybe in my whole school career. And it is this project that I did when I was really young in elementary school. But even to this day, I love using this type of medium. Not a lot of people use it because it's kind of out there, a little bit hard to control, but super fun to use. So today we are making foam paint, and it is super squishy and fun. You're only going to need 3 materials for this and some extras if you've got them around the house. So for making foam paint, I've got some Elmer's glue here. Any liquid crafting glue is fine. You don't need this much. This is just what I have. This is my big teacher gallon that I have. Definitely paper towels. This is going to get messy. So make sure you're in a space that's clear, and this won't stain anything, so don't feel like you have to fully go outside, but have a clean space like you always should for crafting. So glue, paper towels, paper. Today I'm just using regular printer paper because that's what we've got laying around, and I'm sure that's all you guys have laying around. But if you want to make sure that your foam paint is on a more of a sturdier surface, you want to maybe go for a watercolor paper that's a little bit more sturdy. Okay, and I have just your regular old shaving cream, and make sure that it's white because we will be adding colors to it, which leads me to my next material. We are going to be needing some food coloring. I have primary colors today, so hopefully when we mix them, it'll make a lovely mix of colors. I've got crayons, and that's an extra. You don't have to do crayons. Scissors and plastic bags. Okay, you want as many plastic bags as you the amount of colors that you're going to be using. Make sure you have the same amount of plastic bags because mixing colors would be beautiful, a nice tie-dye texture, but if you don't want the colors to mix, you're going to want to have separate bags. Okay, so jumping into it, we are going to make sure that our space is clear, and we're going to start by making our mixture. So get your paper out of the way. Just make sure that you have your scissors, your shaving cream, and your bags, okay? So to start out, what you're going to do is you're going to take your bag, and what I think is easiest is if you kind of give it a little bit of a fold down so you can get the shaving cream all the way down to the bottom, but it's your choice if you just want to spray it in. This is not a super precise project, so measurements, you don't really need a measuring cup for this. You can really just eyeball it. What you're going to do is you're going to be taking your your shaving cream, giving it a little shake, and you are just going to be spraying in as much paint as you want. So think about how much paint you're going to be using and then use that amount of shaving cream. So I'm going to make just a small amount because I'm just showing you an example today. Okay, some shaving cream. About a cup's worth. It's hard to measure shaving cream because it's so floofy. All right, and I'm going to take my giant thing of glue right now. And I'm just going to do, I'd say about a half a cup. Nothing too precise. Like I said, just pouring that in there. A little bit of, about a tablespoon, I guess, actually. Okay, and this glue is really just for the adhesive to make sure that it stays sticky on your paper and it won't it makes it a little bit more thick too. All right, and then I'm going to choose my color. I'm going to start with red. Taking my food color, I'm just going to put a few drips in there. I'm about 5 or 6. Okay, maybe one more for good luck. All right, and then unfolding your bag, zipping it up. Make sure you have all of the air out of there so it's easier to squish around, and zipping it up. Just like this. All right, give it a little mush, mix that color in there. Add a little bit more color. right. Okay, now that I have my color in there, it's more of like a pink, so you want to make sure that you put in more drips depending on how pigmented you want your color to be. I definitely added in more as I was mixing it up, but now you're going to do the same thing with all of your other colors, okay? So make sure that you're adding the amount of color that you want in there to make it super pigmented, and I'll come back after I'm done mixing all these colors together. I have made my mixtures, my foam concoctions, and I am ready to start making paint. As you see, I definitely did get some food dye on my hand, but that comes off with warm water. If you take a shower or bath, it'll come off. And make sure that you learned the lesson that I did and put more food coloring in it, because mine turned out a little bit of pink, but I kind of like it that way. All right, so I'm going to be teaching you 3 different techniques on how to use foam paint. So I guess actually 4, because the beginning one is just a quick tutorial on how to just use it and squeeze it out. So I'm going to just show you with my yellow. I am taking my bag and I'm pinching the foam away from the corner. And if you've ever decorated a cupcake, we're doing the same kind of method, just cutting the tip off just a little bit. And then so no surprises happen for us, we're going to make sure that our bag is fully zipped. We're going to take our first piece of paper, and this is just how to do a nice squeeze and what it's going to look like when it's fully out of the bag, okay? I'm just going to make a heart to show you. So I'm squeezing my bag very lightly as I drag it across the paper. Just like that. So pretty. Look at that yellow. So as it dries, it'll stay puffy too because of the glue that we used. And so sometimes people like to use a scraper and kind of scrape that foam away, but I like the puffiness of it, so I'm going to keep it like that. And now this is just your regular old squeezing technique of using foam paint. I'm going to put that to the side. If you see, I move it to the side, nothing moves. It's very sturdy. And now for our second technique, it's called the swish technique. So this is when you're going to get your paper towel out. I'm going to take 2 because I need one to be my little plate and the other one to be my paintbrush, okay? So taking my first one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, once again, cut off the tips of all of my other colors. And this one's if you want to use multiple colors and if you want to make kind of like a rainbow effect. Cutting all of my tips off. There we go. And now what I'm going to do on my little paper towel plate, definitely a little bit more sturdy if you use a regular plastic plate. Won't dye your plates, don't worry. So I'm going to just make a little dollop of each color on my paper towel. Ooh, look at that blue. I'm going to do a little bit of yellow. I'm putting them very close to each other. All right, and my red. So fun. Okay. Now that I've got my colors, I'm going to take my second paper towel and my paper. And I'm going to be taking my paper towel, and for this swish technique, you can fold your paper towel any way you want, and you're going to dab right in the middle of your foam, little triangle that you've made. Your paper towel should look something like this with all the colors on it. And you're going to take your paper and just very lightly spread it across your paper, and that gives it a really cool tie-dye, rainbow, mixed kind of color there. And then what you can do with this foam paint, people call this polishing, is you just take your paper towel and just wipe it off. And that color stays. See how it doesn't spread around too much? It's a really pretty way to make rainbows, gives your already drawn pictures a little bit more texture if you leave it fluffy. All right, so there is our swish technique. I'm going to put that over here. And then for our third technique, you're going to be taking your little triangle again, taking a paper towel, and this is a good way to make patterns. Sometimes people use this kind of paper once they're done for like scrapbooking or collaging, anything like that. So I'm taking the same kind of dab, kind of looks like Neapolitan ice cream. Oh, I guess no chocolate though. All right, so I'm taking my paper towel and I'm gonna start the pitter patter technique. And what you're gonna do is just like how it sounds. So you're gonna just be taking your paper towel and just making little dots all over your paper. And this gives it such a cool, like all my colors kind of look like cotton candy, so pretty. And this makes such a cool pattern for collaging, anything like that. It's a little bit too much yellow, so I'm just gonna spread it around. And then, once again, I'm gonna be taking my clean paper towel and polishing it off by just scraping it away. People also use plastic scrapers. If you ever used Play-Doh, they have some great scrapers in the Play-Doh collection. All right, and if you see, it makes such a pretty stain on this paper. Look at that. You can cut it up, make it into anything you'd like. All right, and then for our final technique, and my favorite one, is called Color Resist. It's like a crayon resist, actually. So what you're going to do is some people do this with watercolor because the wax in the crayon causes the foam paint to not really mix in. It really gives it a bold kind of color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a quick little flower. I'm really pushing hard on my crayon to get a really heavy wax layer. Use a bunch of different colors. It makes it beautiful, really pop out. Little heart in the middle. Alrighty, a nice little messy flower for you, friends. And now, I'm gonna add a little bit of orange. I can't help myself. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to grab another paper towel. Hopefully you guys have these on deck. And I'm going to be taking my mixture, doing the same thing that we've done for our other techniques, really getting a lot on there. I'm gonna get some more blue this time because I want these bright colors to pop. And I'm just gonna do a swish pattern. Maybe I'll do some pitter patters. Really getting those colors everywhere. Okay, and my crayon's all covered. You can cover the whole paper. Just make sure you've really covered the whole thing. Putting this to the side, and then a little bit of magic's gonna happen. I'm gonna polish it off. And voila, my beautiful flower. It's definitely more blue than I was expecting, but it's so pretty. You see those hints of pink? So pretty. And you see you can still see all of my crayon, all of my designs. It's a great way to add some background color to your picture if you forgot to do that in the first place. And there we go. It's definitely a little messy, but you guys get the idea. I just want to make sure that you guys can see that lovely design that I've made. And so that kind of finishes us off for our foam paint tutorial. Let me bring them all into view so you can see what we did. Just a little recap, just our regular foam spray, our swish pattern, our pitter patter technique, and our crayon resist pattern. Beautiful. So these three are going to dry very fast, and they're basically dry now, but this one is going to take a little bit longer to dry. But so pretty, right? Well, thank you so much for crafting with me today. I had so much fun. I got some cleaning to do now, but I had so much fun doing it. This is also fun to just squish around in your hands for a fun sensory project. But I'll see you next week. Thanks for joining me. I had so much fun. Send me your foam paintings. I want to see. Bye, guys.